It is 1 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Lucas Panzica. More updates in the case of Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson, as one of the 4 women still suing Watson that have not settled has filed a civil lawsuit today against the Houston Texans. The lawsuit includes messaging from the owner of the massage business that the Texans used, complaining to the team about Watson's behavior. Tony Busby, the attorney, of course, representing all the women that have filed civil suits against Watson, said, quote, "The overwhelming evidence collected indicating that the Houston Texans enabled Watson's behavior is incredibly damning." Watson is set to meet tomorrow with the NFL and potentially have a suspension levied for the 2022 season. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Let's do this. It is Monday. Blaine and Mickey, what's going on, everybody? Beautiful day outside. It's not even excruciatingly hot. So wherever you are, try your best to just soak this in. I don't know how many of these we got left this year before. It will just be like a fireball every day burning us in the sky. So sorry to start with that. But I went to the NASCAR race yesterday out at Gladeville, and I'll just tell you, it was warm out there. Couple of weather delays. Fantastic race, though. Chase Elliott, who was by far the fan favorite, ultimately gets the win for those who were able to stay until the very end. And I thought, how can I celebrate something like this? And I thought, here's what I could do. I could have the Allan Bell come in and sit in with me today because Blaine is out. And certainly he did it because Allan has like a bat signal. And if you just put out any signal like AB, we need you, he appears next to you. It's like a magic trick. And here he is, Allan Bell, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, hey, first off, I appreciate that. And you know what? I just try to be like you said, just that blazing ball of fire in the sky. No, I appreciate you having me, man. It's always great to be here at 104.5. You guys are all the best. And, to be in studio with you, it's fantastic, man.
So Blaine is at the Senior Bowl banquet and golf tournament. He played in the Senior Bowl. He's in their Hall of Fame. So Blaine is tweeting out pictures of him and Dak Prescott and him and Von Miller this morning. So Blaine's down there living a dream in Mobile, probably eat some gumbo, play some golf with some of his fellow alums. But appreciate you hanging out today.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And let me say this. First off, that's awesome for Blaine. Second, you had me at gumbo, so I was good to go whether we played golf or not. So, man, that's awesome for him.
I was thinking about this because Allan said, okay, yeah, I can come on with you and I'll do it. And I knew he was going to come on today. And I'm, sending him his text, what do you want to talk about? By the way, the Zone TV chat is blowing up right now. People are very excited. There's Zach says, AB with 1 million exclamation marks.
My man, Zach, yeah.
Alonzo says, hey, guys, was the race too much for Blaine? LOL. No, Blaine went on Saturday and waved the green flag.
Yeah.
And was in the
was he really? Yeah.
Yes. And was in Victory Lane at the end. It was everywhere. Typical Blaine. Everybody's like, Blaine, get in here. Zach Bunch has a bunch of hand-clapping emojis as well. So he's very excited for Allan to be here. So let's just start with this because 2 of the most important people in this town are Allan Bell and Peyton Manning. Allan Bell's important to people. Peyton Manning is important to people. And those 2 forces met yesterday.
We did. Yeah. Got to hang out a little bit with him. And first off, Peyton is – all right, let me say this. With Peyton Manning, there are so many superlatives that you could give the guy. Legitimately, he is just great at everything that he does. The most fascinating thing to me is that he remembers people's names at an uncanny level, right? I'm okay with remembering names. It could get difficult. There were people that would come by for, I'm telling you, 5 seconds, come by, say hello. Hey, I'm Gladys. Hey, men, women, children, the entire genre. They would come back like somebody forgot their purse. He's like, oh, hey, Gladys, it's right here. Legitimately, every time he will remember people's names. So the mnemonic ability to do that alone is fantastic. And think how many people that guy meets.
Everybody.
And then number 2, his publicist, all right, this woman, and I wish I could remember her name. She has an incredibly difficult job because Peyton Manning on the road is essentially a circus wherever he goes, right? And she, on her own, was managing, I'm telling you, all kinds of people trying to, come up, say hello, whatever. And, not that she was rude or mean or anything, but like her job is not easy. And she managed it like a stud. So, but yeah, man, Peyton, he was in Nashville last night at the Sonesta Hotel over off Riley Parkway for the Volunteers of America. They had a champions dinner and a charity foundation last night and a golf tournament this morning. So shout out to them. Randy Brothers is the one who manages that. And yeah, it was a great event. It was cool.
And he's now telling people everywhere he goes on the golf course, see, I met Allan Bell yesterday. He didn't have a publicist. He handled his own circus very well. He was concerned about you, though, and I am too. Your eyes all red. Peyton Manning showed genuine concern for your health.
He did.
That's an aspect of him I don't know if people know about. It's just his concern for people's health.
Yeah, his all-around just kindness. Yeah, so anybody who cannot see me right now, I'm dealing with just an allergic reaction, and my left eye is just really puffy, right? Like, it's just red. Doesn't hurt, no pain, nothing. Even with the doctor, they're like, you don't need anything for it. Like, it's going to go down. But, yeah, even him, he was like, hey, Allan, great to meet you. He goes, your eye okay, man? And I started laughing. I was like, of course. I was like, the one time I get to actually be around this dude, and it's like I look like I just took a baseball bat to the face,
This eye thing seems to be going around. I told you my neighbor, his eye looked like yours. My wife's eyes are both swollen. I don't know what's going on. If you got any eye tips, tweet him at Allan Bell 247.
We'll take all
right?
eye tips. Yeah, absolutely.
Hit him up with those. Maybe he'll take you to his magic refrigerator that he recently tweeted pictures of that had clearly Canadians and juice barrels. And what's this weird flavor of Gatorade that you're trying to introduce on the masses?
Lime cucumber. Yeah.
That's a hard no from this end of the desk here. Although Lucas will drink anything, mayonnaise in his coffee. By the way, have you had that?
No, I have not. Well, I don't drink coffee, right? Okay. However,
you will drink mayonnaise.
Well, as someone who doesn't drink coffee, it sounds like the same to me. I mean, so if we're gonna have
what's the difference?
Yeah. Look, I have mayonnaise on everything else, and it's fantastic. So, I mean, it can't be that bad in coffee.
Mayo and coffee is gross, but cucumber lime Gatorade is amazing. And I don't understand what grosses people out about it, unless you just inherently hate cucumbers.
I inherently hate cucumbers.
Okay, fair enough. Because people put cucumber in water.
I do that a lot. Yeah, it's good.
Okay, I hate that too.
But you're right though. Like it's the cucumber part, right? Yeah. Like you're either all in or all out.
I just love cucumber.
I do too.
There are three things that I imagine taste like what dirt would taste like. One is radishes. Number two is cucumbers. Number three is watermelon. Watermelon tastes like how I assume wet dirt would taste.
You don't like watermelon?
I know, right? It's crazy.
Man. I would rather take a drink of your cucumber Gatorade than eat watermelon.
Well, hey, good news for you.
Yeah, he's brandishing the bottle at me. Yeah. All right, so AB met Peyton. He's doing okay. There was a NASCAR race in Nashville. That ended happily for, well, again, the majority of people there had on Chase Elliott gear. I don't know what he made in merch yesterday. He made a lot off me because my son left fully enrobed in number 9 gear. But it was a fantastic thing. Ole Miss won the College World Series. That was my called shot. I'd been like 0 for the last month, I think. But I did get that one.
Nice. That's like a plus 800 hit too. Well done on that.
No, I did. Sadly, I made no money on it. I didn't call them before the tournament. AB. Yeah. Did anybody that bet money on them when they were the last team into the postseason?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
No wonder you're walking around here today with your red eye smiling.
Well, I was happy, but it also brought up because we do a daily show, right? Called the Early Edge, and just plug it real quick. We won't do that ever again.
That's what you're here for.
No.
Plug that rascal.
So it became a problem when Ole Miss got to the final because Oklahoma was already there, right? And Ole Miss had to go through kind of that 2-game stretch with Arkansas, and it was like, all right, we're sitting on Ole Miss plus 800, like we're gold if they win, but we do a show every day, and you have to have picks. So I was like, okay, now we got to come up with like a calculus hedge here of like betting Oklahoma, but some people didn't get on it early, so now they're going to hate it if Oklahoma loses. So it became what was a no-lose situation to almost a no-win situation, right? When you're making picks like every day. But credit to Ole Miss, man. Like they handled their business. That was awesome.
To go through the season that they did and to finish under 500 in conference, they're the last team in. I know you and I were throwing some notes back and forth. This is definitely something I want to get into because I was like, hey, anything you want to hit? He sent like 7 topics. I thought, you're going to have to host a week to get all this stuff in. We were talking about Ole Miss. I talked to the guy, Jeff Purinton. He came from Alabama. He's the new AD at Arkansas State. I bumped into him while I was in Jonesboro. He was like, I know you used to work here. You're in radio. And, what you just because he's this inquisitive guy, like, tell me what's got us, tell me what we got to get rolling here. What do we got to fix? You're Mr. Arkansas State's what everybody tells me. And I was like, well, I don't know who told you that, but they're all on the payroll.
I like you're the traveling AD. Yeah,
right, of Arkansas State. I'm the AD away from the school. I'm the traveling AD who just works all the other gigs. And so I said, one thing you got to get right is college baseball, because think about this. Coastal Carolina won the College World Series the year before they even joined the Sun Belt.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't even in the Sun Belt, and they won.
Yeah.
The Sun Belt sent 4 teams this year to
the
postseason.
Yeah.
The Sun Belt.
Yeah.
When's the last time we sent 2 teams to basketball?
Yeah.
Never happens. It's a one-bid league. For baseball, though,
oh, yeah.
I mean, there's an opportunity there. I can't tell you how much we watched in here on this TV while it was going on, but I'd go home and watch it. College baseball is exploding in popularity.
It is. And, the good thing about it is exactly what you just said, right? Like, you have your blue bloods for sure. And look, Ole Miss has been a quote-unquote blue blood program, but that was the first one that they won, right?
Yep.
Like, and it goes to show how difficult it is to win the College World Series. But that being said, if you're looking at a sport where you want, in a super amount of talent, it's baseball, right? Like, you look at the NFL, there are 15 people on planet Earth that can play quarterback, right? That can ultimately play at a high level. Those guys just aren't walking around. But with baseball, you've got guys who can field, guys who can throw. You've got guys that look like me that aren't the tallest in the world. And I'm not saying I'm part of it. I'm saying that guys that, you don't have to be massive, but they can hit, right? Like, you've got guys that can play, and every single kid plays baseball coming up. So when you look at, programs like that, Coastal Carolina, right? You're talking about a Sun Belt. You're talking about anything. I'll give you a perfect example. Oregon State, for the last 10 to 15 years, have modeled their program right after Vanderbilt baseball. And they're doing a phenomenal job. That's why they're good. They won titles because they're saying, look, we can own the entire West Coast, where there are 1 trillion people who play baseball because it's sunny year round, right? And they're saying, look, let's just take it seriously. Let's go recruit Southern California, Arizona, recruit Oregon, recruit Washington. Look what they've done, right? And, you could be a big program, small program. You could really make headway there, man, if you know what you're doing to hire some good coaches.
There's a way I had written some notes about this, and it's funny because Allan sent me some too. Want to get into this about what this does for hope for teams. I thought it was an interesting point from Allan, and we're going to get into that. Just some stuff about this, not necessarily the College World Series, but just hope in general with the postseason. We'll get into that and more. I got a bunch of topics we're going to hit today. We're going to do Ding Dong of the Week in hour number 2, so get your ding dongs ready for that. Bunch of fun topics, bunch of fun stuff. Open phone lines all throughout the day. You want to join us on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline? No guests. Allan is our guest today, so we're paying homage to Allan. You got any eye home remedies you want to hit us up with for Al? Whatever you want to do, it is your show. It is Allan's show. It is our show. We're going to be here today until 3 o'clock. It's Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. Allan Bell sitting in for Blaine Bishop today. Blaine is living it up down at the Senior Bowl. They're having a big golf tournament, and he's hanging out with all his NFL buddies. So go to, he's at bbishop23, I believe, on Twitter. Go there, and you can just see Blaine with, fellow football stars. He looks like he's having a great time. Blaine has a great time wherever he goes. I can speak to that personally. Okay, my man Bert is sitting in for Lucas, who is eating spaghetti right down the street from us here in the studio. Lucas has been pulling double duty lately, doing a great job filling in for Buck while he's gone, by the way. Lucas is like multi-talented, can do anything they ask him to do.
He's a 5'2" guy, yeah.
And makes his own lunch and brings it.
6'2"
guy, yeah. Bert playing that Joe Walsh song. Joe Walsh is like the most literal person. Like anytime he gets asked a question, there's no like philosophy to it or anything. He just answers the question, and somebody asks him about Life's Been Good, and he goes, well, I had a song. I won't do it all as Joe Walsh. But he's like, I had a song that went, then he said, and then I had another song that went, and he said, I couldn't finish either one of them. So I just stuck those two together. Like, that's his explanation for his biggest solo hit. I just crammed two songs together because I couldn't finish either one.
It only went for like $30 million. I mean, yeah.
It also explains why that song is 7 minutes long. Like, I wonder how much of it was one song and how much of it was another song.
It's two songs. It's 2 3.5 minute songs. I mean, that's it.
Have you heard him talk about the hook for Life in the Fast Lane and coming up with that when they were getting ready to record something else? I don't know what. And that was his warm up. The intro to Life in the Fast Lane. That was just the warm up he would do. And he was doing it. He did a couple times. And I don't know, maybe Glenn or somebody just said, hang on. What was that? He does it again. He's like, do it again. He did it again. And it became Life in the Fast Lane.
Sweet Child of Mine was Slash's warm up.
Really?
Yes. It was just a hard, like a thing that makes your fingers do things they don't normally do.
Yeah.
Thing to play. And so they just, it's like the whole thing. Wait a minute. I think that's a song.
Well, I find it fascinating. Maybe they've figured something out. Like, it sounds like essentially you would take, Jim Kelly's NFL career, and you're like, you know what? Instead of doing this for 16 years and, breaking my legs, how about I just have one incredible season, right? And then we're just done. Like, all the money, all the accolades. Yeah, I think that they figured, in terms of efficiency, I respect it. Like, that's the way to do it.
Well, the road to rock and roll stardom is littered to like songs that were written at Soundcheck. One of the greatest stories like that of all time, Deep Purple, used to, when you made a vinyl record.
Yeah.
And you couldn't send a file to anybody, so you would bring all the journalists to the studio to hear the record in its truest form in a studio that was EQ'd and designed to make it sound. Although what's funny is, I'll tell you guys a little story. I've recorded a bunch of songs in my life. I'm old enough to have done it where you would record a song, burn it onto a cassette, and take it out to your car because that's the stereo your ears are trained.
Yeah.
So if it sounds right on your stereo to you, that means it sounds right.
That's a great point. Yeah.
Because your stereo is EQ'd. It's the radio you listen to the most.
Yeah. Okay. Can I ask you a question real quick?
I don't know. I mean, it's how hard is it?
Well,
is it math related?
Well, it's hard for me. I don't think. Trust me, I'm not asking any math questions. I can assure you on that. All right. So I know nothing about music in terms of more than I listen to a song, I like it, right? When you record a song, do you come up with the music first or do you come up with the lyrics first? And this might be just the dumbest question you've ever heard in your life.
Dumb. It's whatever your process is.
Yeah.
And there are great partnerships like Elton John and Bernie Taupin where one wrote the lyrics and the other wrote the music. And the twain never met. One wrote the lyrics, all those Elton John songs. One wrote the music, one wrote the lyrics.
Really? Yeah.
There are other times where Joe Walsh is just sitting in a chair and goes, do-do-do-do-do-do-do. And somebody goes, Life in the Fast Lane. And then away you go.
All right. So it's a creative process throughout.
Here's one of the greatest ones, and this is the one I was telling. Deep Purple are taking the press on a bus to the studio to listen to a record.
Yeah.
And somebody said, how do you write a song? And so Richie Blackmore is on the bus just with a guitar. That's the way the legend goes. And he and the singer, Ian, start kind of going back and forth. And they said, well, you got to have music. And Richie Blackmore goes, dung, 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 dung. And the singer just starts going, and then you just got to have words.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to take my car. And he starts singing Highway Star.
Yeah. That's incredible.
So they wrote the song on the bus for journalists. They're like, that's how we do it.
So it's essentially a quarterback in the huddle that's just literally like in the dirt saying, all right, look, this is what we're going to do. X receiver, you do this, Y, Z. Yeah. Okay. All right. I got it. Yeah. And also, side note, to make any of us feel old, the generation coming up now will never in their life touch physical music, right? You won't touch a record. You won't touch a tape. You won't touch a CD. They'll in their entire life, they'll never touch unless they go old school, like and get a record, like a record player.
My daughter is 16. We have a record player. She brings vinyl home.
Okay, all right.
Everywhere she goes.
Yeah.
She went to see my mother and bought Michael Jackson's bin in a flea market in Jonesboro.
Nice.
Arkansas.
Okay,
so
good for her. Because it was going to make me feel old.
no,
like,
vinyl is making a comeback.
Oh, nice.
Lucas bought
Yeah.
me a record for my
For
birthday.
his birthday, I got him the record company's the
And
band.
it's sea glass. It's the most beautiful vinyl thing. I mean, it's. Thank you, Lucas. It's a very sweet and thoughtful gift.
I said all that just to get some props for Lucas. Yeah.
There you go. You knew what you were
The
doing.
record store was slammed with people, by the way, when I went in there to get that record.
Good.
It was
Yeah.
awesome.
So, okay, good. Because I say that as an ignorant person to the music industry and purchases and all that. Good. Okay, because it was going to make me feel really old that, like even an iPod, they're like, what is an iPod? So, all right, good. Yeah.
Now, the iPod is no longer made as of literally a few months ago. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
They announced that they were going, and I was like, here's the news. They still made those?
Yeah.
Not that they stopped.
Side note, you know what the biggest...
We're side noting all the way.
We
here,
are.
yes.
The biggest leverage piece that Apple in their entire company that they have, right? And they might own the moon one day, right?
They may already.
Is iMessage on text messages. Like they will literally sell iPhones because people don't want to be in a group text with the green bubbles. It's their great. Like as long as they hold on to that.
Happened to Blaine.
People are getting ostracized by their friend groups for
100%.
being the
Is
one
it
green
Ron Slay
messenger.
on that?
Yes.
Yes.
Slay is guilty whenever on being the guy with the green
Yes.
messages.
Yeah. Like
Blaine
is-
used to be.
Yeah. Blaine
He
changed
moved
it.
over? All right,
Yes,
he moved
for that
over.
reason.
All right.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
Slade's
I'm
the
telling
only
you.
one on the zone lineup.
It's literally like their biggest leverage piece. As long as they hold on to that, they will always sell iPhones. Yeah.
I got broken up with once because I was the green dot
Yeah,
in a
see?
blue. And she was like, I just get tired of texting you because
Yeah.
it's always green. You know?
I'm telling you, man, like it changes like lives.
Like you
You're
could have
right.
just said I was ugly. You could have just said I'm not easy to be around. You didn't
You're
just
like-
make fun of my phone.
No, you're like me. You're like, I'm used to that one. I can hear that one.
How many people at the start of any tournament,
Yeah.
bet just say, I'm going to throw $5 down on the last rated team? Because let's go into this. We were talking about Ole Miss.
Yep.
They win the College World Series. They were well noted, the last team to get a bid. They were on the bubble. People were mad when they got in.
Yep.
There were other schools that felt like they had a better argument to get in than Ole Miss. Ole Miss gets in. I said, just think, and if you're just joining us, Allan Bell sitting in for Blaine, I said, just think some people bet them. You said, I did. So how many people at the start of a tournament
Yeah.
just I'm throwing $10 down on the lowest rated team?
You'll always get that. There's like a 1% to 2% that are always going to do it. You see the same thing in, like the Kentucky Derby or
Sure.
PGA
Anything like that, yes.
Yeah, where you have like those plus 10,000 odds.
Wimbledon, which is now, yes.
Yeah, exactly, right? So you're always going to have that, but it's a very small percentage, and it's going to be a small percentage bet. It's going to be $1, $5. Like it's rarely over $10, right?
Okay.
So you get a little bit of that, but mostly people bet the favorites, and going off of what we were talking about, right? Of having hope with these teams. Like not only was Ole Miss, like when you look at the final 8 of winning the College World Series, not only was Ole Miss at the bottom, so was Oklahoma, right? Like, the
Yes,
favorites
neither
were,
one were seeded.
Yeah, the favorites were, the 4 teams like Tennessee and Oregon State who don't get there. And then you've got Texas and Stanford who are the first 2 out. And you look across these sports that now that playoffs are expanding, these teams have chances, right? Like we just saw the NFL with their first year of expanded playoffs. What happens? Neither one seeds got there. Neither one seeds even had a good playoff, which obviously, we saw here.
Yeah,
but
fortunately.
yeah, I know. And not to bring that up, but to say, like, you look at the Rams and then you look at the Bengals, right? So it is all about, like, everybody talks about, like, coming into a Titans year, or if you're a fan of the Bills or the Eagle, whoever. It's always like, can we win a Super Bowl this year? And yeah, you want to have those conversations, but that's so far down the road. The conversation in any sport is just get to the playoffs because you just don't know. Like the Ravens were really like 10 years ago, whatever it was, they were like that first team that you're like, okay, this team really wasn't supposed to win it all, and they just went through and did it, right? And it kind of opened that window, and we're seeing it more and more across sports now that if you just get there, you've got a chance. 2 months ago, not even that, everyone thought Ole Miss's, manager long time, Bianco, was going to step down. Like that's how far Ole Miss came, and then they just won a title. Like he went from stepping down to now he's going to have a statue, which he probably is going to have one anyway because he's been there that long. But like you literally just won a title. You know what I mean? And now the state of Miss,
you win that. It's a statue.
Oh yeah,
you went from the hot seat to like
the king seat. Yeah,
the king seat.
And think about this: the state of Mississippi now back to back College World Series, right? So yeah, like it just goes to show that as it's changing and as more teams are getting in, it is about just get to the playoffs. Focus on getting there. You might be the 1 seed. You might win your division. You might come in as a wild card, depending on whatever sport that you're talking about. If you could get there healthy, right, and you just never know when your team is going to pick up. Oklahoma was the hottest team in the country. Like, they were scoring 10 runs on – they would put 10 runs up on the Dodgers, right? Like, I mean, they were hitting everything. They scored, what, 5 runs? Like, Ole Miss just went in and just shut them down. You know what I mean? Like you can
didn't have their ace even.
100%.
Bianco goes in and finds a guy to throw the first game. What's perfect for 5 innings?
Yeah, and they were going freshman pitchers, right? Like because they had to use their ace against Arkansas just to get there.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, man. And Oklahoma was set up with just everything for them, and Ole Miss just blew through them. So long story short, like focus on getting the playoffs, and if you could get there healthy, anything can happen. So, yeah, like they kind of show hope for other teams that are looking to win titles. Like, don't focus on the title. Just focus on getting there and being healthy. Then you never know.
See, something like the College World Series, again, when I watched Coastal win it and knew they were joining the Sun Belt, and if you're new to this show, I went to a Sun Belt school, so I'm one of the few people that pays attention to the Sun Belt. I thought, shouldn't everybody be watching this?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're an athletic director and administrator, shouldn't you be paying attention to this? Because that's a tournament. You can go to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
You can go. You could win the first game. You could get to the second weekend. That's the whole thing. And Allan's with Sportsline and is just a betting guru and is a guy that and that's one of the many layers of Allan Bell, who's with us today in Blaine's place, expertise, and we can get into a bunch of this stuff. But with the basketball tournament, ultimately, I mean, you even had Butler who made it a couple of years. They just couldn't get over the hump.
Yeah.
But I would imagine you can bet sort of the layers within the tournament, individual matchups. But the baseball tournament, you can look at the last team in, whether it's Ole Miss or it's Southern Miss.
Yeah.
And you could say, if they've got the right 2 pitchers, a couple guys who can get some clutch hits, they could win the whole thing. Like you said, before the tournament, I put money on Ole Miss to win. I know it's Ole Miss. And like you were saying, this is a team that's been a powerhouse program for years. They just couldn't get over that final hump. And in the oddest year of all, they get over the final hump.
Yeah.
But just the way you can bet the baseball tournament seems so interesting. You could bet those individual matchups. You can bet regionals and super regionals. But just looking at it from the big picture point of view, the last team went and won it. And I think that could happen maybe. Yeah. I think that could happen there maybe in other ways that it couldn't happen. Couldn't happen for basketball.
Basketball's tough. You're right. Like, the NCAA tournament historically is always blue bloods at the end. Always, right? Because it's so many games, and basketball's a different sport. But the College World Series winning it, it's brutally difficult as well, right? Because you've got to come up and have, like you said, 1, 2, 3 pitchers that could go, and your guys have to be hitting, and you're probably playing a team like Stanford, like Texas, who legitimately put in $50 million more than you do. You know what I mean? Like, it's tough. However, right? Like, that is what makes it so great. And what Coastal Carolina did is that, there's baseball talent. The state of Tennessee is one of the best states in the country in terms of baseball talent. Look how much have been coming out for the last 10 years and keep going, right? So what Coastal Carolina did is they saw South Carolina that was winning all these titles, and they see Clemson, who, Tim Corbin came from there, and, all of these, like, these 2 great programs. They're like, well, we just hang out in the parking lot, and whoever you don't, your last 2 guys that you can't sign, buddy, we're right here. Like, we're right here on the coast. Have some fun. And they just recruited really well, and you could do it. And another point in regards to that, in college baseball is at the forefront of it. Look how many teams have their best year, don't win it, but then come to win it the next year. Oregon State did it in 2012. Vanderbilt did it. I thought that, what did they win? I think 2017. I think their 2016 team, and I might be 1 year off on those. I thought that was the much better team, right? And it's like, you think about it, you're like, oh, man, like that was the one. Should have got away. Well, look at the roster. It's coming back. It's like, oh, no, we're going to be pretty good, and they go through and, Corbin and the boys, take care of business. So it's always one of those two, again, like, just get to the playoffs. If you just get there, you're going to give yourself a great shot. And you never know, man. Sometimes, the lightning just strikes right on your right arm, and, buddy, you're just striking everybody out. Like, you just don't know if it's going to be your time. And think how many times that, like, teams like that, like the Rams went through, they haven't had a first-round draft pick in what feels like 20 years, right?
They didn't pick till the third this year.
Exactly. And it's like, they put it all on the line for this year, and they're like, you know what, we're going for it. They were a 3 seed, I think, and get in there, and it's just game after game, man. Like, it would be, Aaron Donald takes over the last series in the Super Bowl. The defense wins it in one game. The offense wins it in another. You just never know. Just get yourself there, and good things can happen.
Okay, you brought this up, and this is something Blaine and I have actually set aside that, okay, we're going to talk about this one day.
Yeah.
But since you brought it up, the Rams' approach. Screw first-round draft picks.
Yeah.
We don't know how well they're going to be. We know Matthew Stafford's a great quarterback.
Yeah.
Let's trade some picks and get him.
Yeah.
We know, Von Miller. We know who's great. They're sure things.
Yeah.
They've already been doing it.
Yep.
You think more NFL teams are going to be like, because people value first-round picks in the NFL. Like in the NBA, it's just a math equation. Like this guy and a bag of money and a tape deck and a 67 Chevy Vega go, to make this equation fit for another team's, money. The NFL's not like that. They value number one picks.
Yeah.
Except for the Browns.
Well, let me say this. I think that they value them too much. Because just from a sports bettor's angle, how many first-round picks actually work out? If you've got 32 of them, we're talking about 4, right? Like that are like legitimately great players.
All-star caliber
okay?
players.
Let's say 4, all right? And we could use an example right here, all right? One of them, A.J. Brown, that you're like, all right, we can't get the contract. So it does you no good. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have to have a mixture of both. Like that's how this thing works, right? Because you can't spend all of that money, on these players. But, it's just such a gamble, man. Like the NFL draft is hard. And then we're talking about the first round. It gets harder. The second round, third round, like you've got to have some luck. You've got to have some guys who really know what they're looking for. And you could have a guy who's really talented that just doesn't fit on your team of what you're doing, right? So like the equation is found in the mixture, but I am more on the side that first round picks are valued way too much. Like unless you've got a top 3 and you're going to get a Trevor Lawrence or somebody, like other than that, we're talking about a parlay here. Like it's not that high of odds that you're going to hit on it. And even so, if you do, then you got to find the money when you could have just found the money and just gone what you wanted to begin with. So
how long is this sustainable? Like when you look at the Rams from a future standpoint, how long is this sustainable where you just keep?
And that's the hard part, because the hard part is that you've got guys that are probably going to be a little older, obviously, if you're getting them through free agency. You're already going after them because they're that talented. So they're at a financial level that you can only get a few of them. It's hard. Like you've got to identify that your key pieces, right? So, okay, let's say you're Les Snead, right, of the Rams right now. And you're looking at it saying, all right, let's plan out the next 3 to 5 years. All right, so the first thing you're going to look at is quarterback. All right, so how much longer do you have Matthew Stafford? Is he, that talent level, right? And are you going to get Matthew Stafford of what you had last year, right? Like I think the Bengals are going to ask the same question. Like, are they going to be as good as they are? But luckily for them, obviously, on a rookie contract QB. But you got to identify your 3 pieces and then go from there. So it's tough, man. Like, whenever GMs get criticized and team presidents, like Dude, that's not an easy job. Like,
Nope.
It is not an easy job. And whoever's running accounting for some of these teams, these guys are better than Enron, man. Like
The Rams accountant should get a Nobel Prize.
literally
for math.
Like, they just find money, right? Like it's hard. I'll say this: you really have to have an organization that is moving in step. Everybody the same way, and I think the Titans have it. Like John Robinson, Mike Vrabel, like they're lock and key together. But yeah, it's tough.
All right, Allan Bell's hanging out for Blaine today. We're talking a little Titans. Let's go to this when we come back. There's a question on Blaine and Mickey Twitter account, and the answers are pretty fascinating. And it's a simple question for today. And Allan can give us some Vegas, some betting, like some real insight, not just I like this team better than that team. Here's the question. Which professional team in Tennessee wins the first championship? Lucas Panzica is in here, and he knows something about a particular wild card that was brought to my attention that goes to this question. We'll explain this mystery and more next on Blaine and Mickey.
All right, so with spaghetti, are you?
Let's tell you about what we got going on with my friends at FanDuel Sportsbook. So in the summertime, you got to find something great to do. And they got $5 Dinger Tuesdays, and that's only on FanDuel Sportsbook. So this season, all customers get $5 for every home run hit by both teams when you place a $25 to hit a home run wager on Tuesday MLB games. That's right. And the best part about Dinger Tuesdays, even if your bet loses, FanDuel is going to pay you $5 for every home run that gets hit. Think about it. I like Mike Trout to go yard against the White Sox tonight, but you find a pick that you like to make. And what are you waiting for? Pick a home run hitter, turn big swings into big wins. There's no better place to bet America's pastime than on America's #1 sportsbook. Just head over to FanDuel. Just jump on your account or download that FanDuel Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Mickey, M-I-C-K-E-Y. That's Mickey, to let them know that I sent you. You do have to be 21 or older, present in Tennessee. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max bonus is $25. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call Tennessee Redline at 1-800-889-9789. Blaine and Mickey 104.5 The Zone. Bird staying topical with the music. Appreciate that. A little Highway Star. This whole album, Machine Head, oh my gosh, it is so good. If you know Deep Purple, then you know Deep Purple. And this was Mach 2. There were basically three different versions of classic Deep Purple. But the Mach 2 version is the one most commonly recognized as Deep Purple by the real fans. There you go. Deep Purple trivia for you. So Allan Bell hanging out today for the Hitman. And I said, okay, Allan, I've been wanting to ask this question, but I think a lot of us, it would just be like, my gut says this, or this is just what I think, or I like this team better than another. That's usually how polls work. So I thought, I'm going to ask Allan this because he could probably give us some real perspective. And it's a simple question for me. Which professional team in Tennessee wins the first championship? Titans made it. The Preds made it. Grizzlies are a young team getting better. Nashville SC is a new franchise. They started right out of the gate, and they've been great. And before I ask you, I have to ask Lucas a qualifier. So, Lucas, you can jump in here. Lucas Panzica hanging out in the studio with us. So here's somebody tweeted us and brought this up, and I'll ask you, does this count? Wesley on Twitter responded to this poll question and said, Nashville SC is already in the quarterfinals of the Open Cup. If they win Wednesday, they'll have home field advantage for the semis and finals. Does the Open Cup count? Like, do you have a parade in your town for the Open Cup? Because you would if they won the MLS.
Yeah.
So this is the wildest of wild cards. They have a different championship they can win.
Yeah, no, soccer is unique in that because you can be playing for multiple trophies. I mean,
Yes.
that's just the name of it. As a professional club, you want to stack your trophy case up as much as possible. In the NFL, those trophies are basically AFC championships and Super Bowls, right? NFC championships and Super Bowls. In college football, it's your conference championship and the national championship. With soccer in the Open Cup, it's interesting because other teams could value it differently or prioritize it differently. If there's one team that's in contention for the Supporter Shield, which is the trophy given to the best regular season MLS team at the end of the year, and they are all in for a 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, and they've got an Open Cup game coming up where they don't want to risk their stars against Louisville City FC in the quarterfinals because they want to get ready for this game against Seattle Sounders over the weekend. They'll rotate a good bit and have a B lineup, against whoever they're playing in the Open Cup. I think Nashville's going for this thing because you're a lot closer to an Open Cup trophy right now than you are an MLS trophy right now if you're Nashville. So,
okay. Yeah,
I don't think you throw a parade, but it would still be their first trophy as a professional club. It's the oldest soccer competition in American history, and it would be a big deal, but it wouldn't be. I don't think you're throwing a parade downtown.
Okay, so we can't include that then. It has to be MLS.
Yeah,
Cup.
let's stick with MLS. Though I do think Nashville is gunning for that Open Cup. They're playing the quarterfinals this week against Orlando.
So here's what the people say, Allan Bell. You ready for this?
Yep.
The team that 4 years ago that they would have run away with this. The Predators are by far the lowest amount. They're down to 9%. People say they will be the first to win a championship. If you'd ask this question, go back 2017, 2018.
Yep.
This would have been a different thing. They are the lowest number. Second lowest number is Grizzlies. That surprised me. Grizzlies second in their conference last year, but they lost in the second round. Second in the West and lost in the second round. They got 24%. Nashville SC, strong third. 30% of the people think and I don't think one person tweeted and said, does that count the Open Cup? We're talking MLS. So 30% say Nashville SC. I knew it would be the Titans would be the highest because they have the largest fan base. So when you have the largest fan base, there's enough optimistic people who are always going to pick your team. 37% for the Titans. So it goes Preds, Grizz, SC, Titans.
Okay.
So how do you look at this, knowing these teams? Because here we go. Nashville SC was third in the East. They lost in the second round. Grizz were second in the West. They lost in the second round. The Preds were eighth in the West, and they lost in the first round. Titans were first in the AFC. They lost in the first round. That's the most recent postseason history.
All right. So I tell you what, I can give you exactly what the sports books by implied probability percentage based on their odds. I could tell you right here. All right. So read through that of most likely to least likely in terms of the fan base. One more time.
All right. Here's what I'm going to do.
Yep.
I'm going to read through this. This is called a tease in radio. Then we're going to take a commercial break. And then
All right.
we'll come back at the top of the hour, and then minds will be blown. And I knew you would have a big analytical thing. That's why you're here, Al. That and the cucumber Gatorade supply. So Preds right now, only 9%. Grizzlies, 24% of their fans, or just of people who responded. You don't have to be a fan of the Grizzlies, think they'll win a
All right,
championship.
so this is least to first.
Preds least, Grizzlies third, Nashville SC second at 30, Preds first by a mile, 37%.
Titans first.
Titans first.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, got you. All right.
Yeah, all right. You have to watch me like Blaine, where I'll say something definitively, be like, I think you mean something else. Yes, Titans first at 37%. You can respond to this poll at Blaine and Mickey on Twitter. Hey, phone lines are open. What do you think? Which one of these teams in Tennessee do you think will win the first league championship of its league? So not Open Cup for Nashville SC. Has to be MLS Cup. Want to hear from you. 615-737-1045. Also, Ding Dong of the Week coming up in hour number 2. Also, with Ding Dong of the Week, if you got the best Ding Dong this week, you got a chance to win a prize, right, Lucas? This is some fantastic Motley Crue and Def Leppard tickets. That's all coming up in hour number 2 of Blaine and Mickey.
It is 1:59. Good afternoon. I'm Lucas Panzica. Reports today revealing the latest in the case of Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson, as one of the 4 women that are still suing Watson has filed a civil lawsuit now against the Houston Texans. Tony Busby, of course, the attorney that has represented every woman who has filed charges against Deshaun Watson, said, quote, "The overwhelming evidence collected indicating that the Houston Texans enabled Watson's behavior is incredibly damning." Watson has a hearing scheduled tomorrow with the NFL to determine his suspension for the 2022 season. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once in your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. What's up, everybody? Happy Monday to you. Beautiful day today in Middle Tennessee. Hopefully you're getting to enjoy that. Blaine Bishop is off today. He is enjoying some time with his Senior Bowl family. So check his social media. You can see Blaine hanging out with a bunch of other NFL legends like himself. So what do? We go to the bullpen, right? I mean, let's just say the Ole Miss Rebels had some good luck out of the bullpen this weekend. Well, so did we. We got Allan Bell of Sportsline, who joins us, came in and hung out today. I know a lot of people, Allan, hear you on all the different shows on this station, but man, 2 hours of AB today. People are just reveling in this. They're just swimming in it.
Well, you know what? I'll say this. I'm very thankful for you guys for having me in, and proud to come out of the bullpen. Look, even if just middle relief, right? Look, just proud to be with you guys, man. You guys are the starters. It's nice to be with the starting 9 here. Hey, respect, man. Thank you.
We can get to this a little bit more later, and we got a topic that we tabled at the end of the last hour. Which professional team in Tennessee wins the first championship? We'll tell you what you say, and then Allan is going to tell you what Las Vegas says. I want to ask you about this, and this is, we talked to Lucas when we sat down here. The biggest story in the sports world today is Deshaun Watson, and this continues to be an unbelievable case study in so many different things in human behavior and in what we know about the law and what we think we know about the law and how the NFL fits into this. And if you're a superstar, then how do you fit in? This is a guy that 3 first-round draft picks were traded for him. And we found out, Lucas, on Friday, that the NFL had basically tried to settle a certain amount of suspension with him. And the word thrown around by some NFL reporters was that could be indefinite, or it could just be a season. And my takeaway was they told him, we could suspend you indefinitely. How about that? Hoping that his team and the NFLPA would say, how about just a season? Okay, then they shake hands and everybody walks out of the room and they just announce it. Couldn't come to an agreement. So the disciplinary hearings, which aren't with Goodell anymore, it's with a lady who's a judge.
Sue Robinson.
So here's to you, Mrs. Robinson. Cuckoo, cuckoo. Hearings start tomorrow for this. And now, today, if you heard Lucas's update, first lawsuit has been filed against the Houston Texans stemming from this case. Again, hearings start this week. Now what for the Browns? Because this is 3 first-round draft picks they traded, $230 million that they guaranteed to this guy. Do you think he'll play this year?
No. Right. Okay, so first off, Tom Brady got 4 games suspended. Based off now what we're seeing of Deflategate was nothing. All because Bill Nye, the science guy, put out there of air density, right? Like, legit. There's no evidence of any Tom Brady.
League.
Yeah, yes. Legit. There's no evidence. Tom Brady almost went to the Supreme Court. Like, this is real, right? And he got 4 games. All of this, there's enough evidence here to do whatever you want.
To match Calvin Ridley's suspension.
Literally, right? There's enough here to suspend as long as you want. My question, the Cleveland Browns, they traded 3 first-round picks and gave, every player in the NFL, Rodgers, Brady, Mahomes, Josh Allen, everybody's looking at who's going to be that guy that's going to get the first fully guaranteed. Who's going to be that guy? It's going to be one of those. Deshaun Watson, right? Like, what?
Wait,
like,
what?
Credit to Deshaun Watson's agent, and this might be the only win that the Houston Texans have this season. They completely fleeced the Cleveland Browns on this deal. I mean, just completely fleeced them. Because what leverage was there? Remember the city of Atlanta? They lost Matt Ryan because they threw like an Atlanta rap party, bringing Deshaun Watson, trying to get him. He doesn't go. Matt Ryan leaves, right? Like,
they flirted with the other girl and lost their girlfriend.
Yeah. Like, what in the world was going on, right? So it's fascinating that these teams, like, you always think that like owners and these billionaires are incredibly intelligent. I'm not saying that they're not, but dude, like, this is what, like, we all knew this coming in. Like, this information was here. So long story short, I'm rambling. No, I don't think that he does. I think it's too much. It's going to be too much bad PR all summer. It's not going to happen.
I have no sympathy, Lucas, for the Browns ownership. I have all the sympathy for the Browns fans. Because look at the mess, the dumpster fire that they've cozied up next to.
Of a good team.
Of a heritage franchise in this league.
Yeah.
One of the most storied franchises in this league. They came from the original All-American Football Conference, so they weren't an original NFL team, but they've been in the NFL for decades. You're talking Otto Graham and Jim Brown, who some people think is the greatest of all time, Paul Brown.
There's no fan base, not to interrupt you, there's no fan base. Like, when you talk about like the horrors and things that fan base, nobody's close to the Cleveland Browns.
Right.
They watch their team literally move, like tore the stadium apart. Like, you watched it in real time. Like, imagine that, right? Like, nobody's gone through it like Browns fans. So I 100% agree with you.
So now what's going to happen?
Do you
What happens now? I mean, if you're the Browns, do you go to the NFL? I mean, do you go to what a higher power you appeal to and say, this guy may never play for us? And, I mean, the Texans.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not the Texans. Look at the Texans mess. Do you think they will try to appeal?
I think they'll try.
Try to get something back, because the Texans now being named in this, does that make them complicit to the point that the Browns could say, you knew what he was doing?
No.
You didn't tell us.
Well, no, because it's not their responsibility. Like, it's buyers,
remorse.
Yeah, like, you've got to know what you're going into. And like, the NFL is all about the path of least resistance. I can tell you exactly what Roger Goodell will tell, Jimmy Haslam, the Browns owner, say, good luck. You know what I mean? Like, this is not me. Like, I've got enough going on over here, right?
Yes.
Like, dude, like, this was not some secret, that I'm selling a car out here, and it's wanted in, Iran, right? Like, yeah, like, everyone knew what was going on. Like, it was you went after it, dude. You know what I mean? So, good luck. And I don't know what happens, in regards to suing NFL teams. That generally doesn't work as well, right? Just because they're just going to say, okay, well, we will drag this out for 14 years in court because you don't have the money for legal representation for 14 years. Like, that's their goal. You know what I mean? So good luck on that. But yeah, I don't know what you do. Now, what do you do? Do you beg Baker Mayfield to come back?
Well, GM of the Browns, Andrew Berry, told us they had a full perspective on every case. So they can cry, well, we didn't know if they want to. And I hope they do. I hope the Browns end up in a spot where they have to flounder for something in all of this. And they have to end up lying in the bed that they made. Yeah. What's the expression? You made your bed, now sleep in it. Mm-hmm. I would love that. Because Andrew Berry told us they got full perspective of every case, right? If they have the full perspective, then okay. Then I guess they knew what they were doing.
No attorney ever says that publicly. Like, why would you?
We know everything there is to know.
Yeah.
Yep. We called 2 people.
Yeah.
And asked them some vague questions.
Probably didn't speak to any of the accusers, but they got the full perspective.
All right. Well, again, that's the biggest story in the sports world today, and it's only going to just engulf in flames more as the week goes on. This topic, though, no flames here. Which professional team in Tennessee wins the first championship? So here we go. Let's update the poll. It is, it's changed just a tiny bit. So this is you on Blaine and Mickey, at Blaine and Mickey Twitter. Which professional team in Tennessee wins the first championship? Preds are coming in 4th. Hard to believe 5 years ago that you would say the Preds are a distant 4th. They are 9%. Grizzlies are now 3rd in this, 25%. Nashville SC stayed the same, 30%. They're the second highest odds according to you guys. Nashville SC, Titans still number one. 36% of responders to this poll, Allan Bell, who's sitting in for Blaine today, say the Titans will win the first championship. So it's Titans, Nashville SC, Grizzlies, Preds. And you say, oh, I've got some real numbers, real Vegas people who build big buildings.
Yeah. So, all right, going off of just what we have information now, like this is not, all time. It's not really the first. It's just based off of the next championship based on that, individual team sport. Okay. Mm-hmm. So going off of that, all right, when you look at, you're going to place a bet, you see a money line like, Titans to win the Super Bowl at plus 3,500, right? All of that is an implied probability. All right. They're just, equations that the book puts out there and says, okay, these are where these teams are going to fit. All right. Plus 100. Yep. That team's got a pretty good shot of doing it. Right. That's, almost, basically even money. All right. So the Titans at 3,500. All right. That shows like where the percentage is based of all the teams in the NFL. So I'll give you the numbers right here. All right. So fourth at plus 5,000 to win the Stanley Cup. The Nashville Predators. Plus 5,000 is an implied probability of basically 2%. Now, it sounds terrible, but think about you've got 30 teams out there, and nobody's sitting like 70%, right? Like, it's like your highest one's going to be like 12%.
Sure.
Yeah. So just when you hear these numbers, they sound bad, but it's not. Like, that's just how these things work. All right, so the Preds are fourth. Third, the Titans. Plus 3,500 to win the Super Bowl. Implied probability 2.78%. To give you perspective, like the Bills, 11%. Right.
Okay.
So that's kind of, know the numbers where you're working at. All right. Second, Nashville SC. All right. Plus 1,800 to win the MLS, 5.26%. And then number one, the Memphis Grizzlies. All right. 5.8%. They're at plus 1,600 to win the NBA title. So 1 to 4, Grizzlies, Nashville SC, Titans, Predators. That's how Vegas sees it for the next
season.
This next season. Yeah. So it's not exactly the answer to which one does it first. It's just here are the odds on next season. So Nashville SC and the Grizzlies, like these are your guys.
When you look at the Grizz, one of the things that helps them the most, because people are saying, gosh, could the Warriors just win it again? Well, maybe, but the Warriors continue to get older. They've all staved off injuries, that kind of things.
Yep.
If I have to say, okay, Allan Bell, you've got to take some of your own money, next team to win a championship, and all you know is what you know right now. It could be next year. It could be 5 years from now before somebody does it. Who do you think?
Grizzlies. I'd absolutely put it on the Grizzlies.
Okay.
And here's why. Excuse me. One, nobody played Golden State tougher than Memphis throughout the playoffs, right? Almost took them out. Number two, the Grizzlies have a unique problem in the sense that they were actually statistically better without Ja Morant, like when they went through that run.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah, right, when he was injured. Now, I'm not saying trade Ja Morant. Heck no, that dude's unbelievable. What I'm saying is most teams have to figure out, oh, Mickey, how do we go find talent? We got to go find some talent. They got all the talent. Like, you just have to figure out, like, what is the equation? Was Ja shooting 2% too much, when he's in? Like, it's very small. Your problems are of figuring it out compared to most other teams. So, yeah, man, like if I had to put my money down, and it's nothing negative on the other ones, but Memphis is set up to run through it. That Tennessee, the Titans are right there too. They've just got a couple more things that they have to figure out. But the Grizz, man, like they figure that jaw thing out, good luck.
What if they figure this out, as Brandon points out in the Zone TV chat? And I had to drive to Arkansas this past weekend. I was listening to our man Gary Parrish once I got close to Memphis. And GP, they're ready to trade 3 first-round draft picks and like multiple dudes to get Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
He had a guy on for 25 minutes and never said his name. I have no idea who his NBA inside. He never said his name, and it wasn't Woj. I would know his voice.
Yeah.
They were ready to trade like 2 or 3 bodies and 3 first-round draft picks for Kevin Durant.
Do it.
Is that about to happen?
Do it. Like, we talk about it in terms of the draft. You want to talk about a draft that doesn't really all that matter? It's the NBA draft. Like, trade all of, like, do it. Like, go for it, right? Like, they're almost like, if they did that, they're almost basically pulling a Rams to where the Rams and the Bucks did the exact same thing. Our team is very, very, very good. We need that one piece. That one piece being Tom Brady, Matthew Stafford. Mm-hmm. Kevin Durant can be that piece. Now, I don't know Kevin Durant in terms of, does he work with, would he be good in the locker room? Does he work with the offense, or does it become a James Harden problem? Doesn't seem like it because, he worked out well in Golden State, right? But if there's any sport where you could do that, yeah, it's the NBA for sure. Because what are you giving up? You're giving up, it's first round draft pick. A lot of those guys go to the G League, right? So, yeah.
Let's do this. When we come back, you know what time it is. Every Monday we do Ding Dong of the Week, brought to you by Mark Spain Real Estate. This time we have prizes, so it's not just your pride on the line. It is tickets to Motley Crue and Def Leppard. No, you can't just call and get them by being a lucky numbered caller. You got to have a Ding Dong. It's next on Blaine and Mickey. So everybody wants to have nice stuff at your home, right? I mean, you want to have nice stuff inside. Ring a ding, ding, dong. It's time for a ding, ding, dong of the week, brought to you by our friends at Mark Spain Real Estate. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing. Or as we like to say, don't be a ding dong. Use Mark Spain. Allan Bell sitting in for the Hitman today. So we're going to take your calls. We will give our ding dongs as well. And somebody asked me the other day, why do you guys call this segment that? And I said, it all started because Blaine calls people ding dongs. Like if somebody just does something ridiculously not smart, Blaine will go, that guy's a ding dong. So we said we just have a ding dong of the week. Let's just pick the biggest ding dong of the week. So there we go. That's where ding dong of the week came from, if you were wondering. Now we got extra.
It's an underutilized word, by the way.
It is. It's completely underutilized. Also as a snack cake, I think very underrated. So here's what we got. Lucas told me we're giving away stuff. So if you've got the best ding dong of the week, call. Motley Crue and Def Leppard tickets are on the line, people. So when we bring you on, I'll put you back on hold. So then at the end of the segment, we can pick who had the best ding dong of the week, and then you will get these. That's right. You're getting these tickets.
Yeah, this Thursday. Joan Jett and Poison are going to be there too.
Yeah.
Dang.
All-star
lineup.
I've seen every Motley Crue tour that they've ever had, starting with Shout at the Devil in 1984.
Nice.
They were supposed to come to Memphis in 83 and play the Mid-South Coliseum, but Ozzy had swallowed glass. They were on tour with Ozzy. Yep. It was the Bark at the Moon tour and Shout at the Devil.
So don't even gasp at that, right? It's like, yeah, he swallowed glass.
Well, I was going to say, the first three legs of that tour, like they got to see him swallowing glass, and then everybody else.
He snorted ants on that tour and peed on the Alamo.
Yep, heard that story.
Yeah,
nice.
But not many people can say that about any artist that you've been to every tour in their existence.
I've never missed a Motley Crue tour. I've seen every one.
Here's the question: are you a T-shirt guy? Like, do you get the T-shirt of the tour?
I did then, but I don't anymore.
All right, I got you.
I mean,
I like it.
I gave away. I thought
you were going to say you ate glass.
No, they were so small. They were all smalls. There's no way I could wear them on my bloated, middle-aged body. But I had everything. I had the greatest collection of T-shirts. I worked with this guy at a grocery store when I was a freshman in college. He was getting picked on in high school. And I put them all in a cardboard box, and I brought them to him at work, and I said, just wear one of these every day.
Yeah.
Nice. I gave him all of. This is so stupid.
No, it's awesome. I love it. You helped this dude out.
I gave him every one of those concert T-shirts.
Oh,
every one of them except for one, my Ozzy for President shirt, which I still have. So small, my daughter, who's 16, can barely wear it.
Yeah.
And I said, wear one of these every day. And if anybody asks you about it, I know you didn't go. Just say the show kicked something that rhymes with glass, and then just keep walking. And so he wore every day, and he is the greatest array of concert T-shirts from the 80s of anybody. Rat, Stryper, Motley Crue, all of it.
Your karma is good, by the way. That's well done. Yeah, like your karma level is at an elite tier here.
I gave them all to him, except for one, which now belongs to my daughter. All right, let's do Ding Dong of the Week. We'll get to ours. Sit your calls for 615-737-1045. Got to make sure I give you the Mark Spain Real Estate hotline number. There are a lot of candidates right now in the sports world. Motley Crue, Def Leppard, Poison, Joan Jett, all one show, tickets on the line. Rick in Clarksville will lead us off. Hey, Rick.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. Or as Archie Bunker would have said, ding bad of the week. My ding dong of the week is the lifeguards that were sitting at the pool watching the poor young lady sink to the bottom of the pool and had to wait for her coach to rescue her instead of doing what they were supposed to do. That's my ding dong of the week in sports.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, she is one of those like swimmers where you synchronize swimmers, right?
Right.
She would get so engrossed in competition, she's passed out twice in the water.
Wow.
Fainted. And the lifeguards just stood and watched, and her coach dove in after her.
Yeah.
And got her. There are pictures of it. It's heartbreaking to see, but she got her out.
Glad she's okay. And
yes.
That feels like something that you would alert the lifeguards to, like before.
Like she may pass out.
Yeah, keep, NFL coaches do it like, hey, this guy's holding. Like,
right.
Just
keep an eye out.
Yeah.
Miraculously, a holding penalty
Thank
gets
God
called.
that, like, she's okay. Like, I'm not making a joke.
No, that's...
I like that one, though. That's a good ding-dong.
There you go. Thank you, Alan. Kenny the mailman up next. What's going on, Kenny?
Hello. How are y'all doing?
You tell us, man. How you doing?
Listen, I've got an outside the sports ding-dong, and I love St. Thomas Ascension because my wife's been having procedures, but there's confusion on the number of the floors in the hospitals, and we don't need that. You can go to St. Thomas, get off a certain floor, you're walking, the floor turns a different color, And the next thing you know, the number of the floor is different. Well, I couldn't pass that up. So I asked the front desk, did we go through a time portal? Did we get transported? I didn't go up or down, but it's different numbers. And they said, well, that's just how it is. And I said, well, two can play that game. I said, are y'all new to Nashville? They said, yes. I said, you do know you're in the new Baptist hospital, right? And they went, what? And I said, which was the old Baptist hospital, which was across the street from St. Thomas. So how do you number that?
Kenny, you blew all their minds. The other thing Kenny could do is he could just say, I don't have your mail. I can't find it. He would never do that, though.
When you control the mail, you control information.
That's 100% true. Kevin in Columbia up next to share a ding-dong with us on Ding Dong of the Week. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, guys. First of all, I want to see Kenny at the Def Leppard concert.
Yeah. Oh, Kenny, I don't think would miss a show like that, right? He's going to be at a great show like that.
And if you're not following Allan Bell on Twitter, you're missing out, guys. He's a must-follow. Not only he give you great betting advice, but he's a nice guy, and he's the kind of guy you wouldn't mind your sister dating. He's just a super nice guy. But,
I appreciate that. We got a winner
Allan
right here.
picked him already.
But my ding-dong is for the anti-gambling guy. Anytime you mention gambling, well, those casinos don't bill themselves, and they're not getting my money. Hey, dude, I'm betting $5 on a parlay to win $200. It's entertainment, man. I'm not trying to build casinos. This is my entertainment. It's just fun. It's fun stuff. And listen to Allan Bell, and you'll win a little bit. So, y'all have a great one, man.
My man,
Kevin. Yeah. Kevin knows what he's doing there.
Well, first off, I mean, appreciate it. Like, Kevin's the man, and like that's the attitude that you want to have, 100%. Like. You're not. This isn't going to start paying your mortgage off and everything. Have fun with it. You see success, but yeah, no, he's 100% spot on.
All right, the ding dongs are just raining down on us. Eric in Nashville, who is a regular ding dong caller. Hello, Eric.
Hey guys, nothing against your prize. Just take me out of the running. Reason being is this: if I win,
he's just in it for the ding dongs. Does it for the love of the ding dong.
If I win, then I'll be ineligible to win SummerSlam tickets.
Yeah,
that's why I don't want to win. So I'm just being honest, guys. Okay. Guys, I've got two quick ones. My first one, all these people that send the death threats to Tyreek Hill for comparing Tua to Patrick Mahomes, get over yourselves. I mean, it's his opinion. I don't agree with it, but it's just ridiculous. And the other one, guys, I don't know if you heard about this. This is non-sports. Well, actually, it is kind of sports. A dad took his 7-year-old son to a Detroit Tigers baseball game. The son was thirsty during the game, wanted a lemonade. The dad got him a Mike's Hard lemonade. He's in trouble with the law. He said he didn't know. And I've heard stories like that before, but actually it does say it on the label, so it gets my other ding-dong. Guys, y'all take care and have a great day.
Thank you, Eric.
Dude, that's a good one right there. That's
hey,
a
Dad,
solid
we got any more of that lemonade? Wow.
The kid picks up a cigarette like he's just good to go.
Where'd you get a cigarette?
A story about a suburban mom. They had a bottle of vodka that had shattered into their ice maker in the freezer. And she kept putting these ice cubes in her kids' drinks and their water bottles and things. And they're like, that's the best ice we've ever had. And so finally she was like, where's this bottle of vodka? And found glass. It was like, uh-oh. Yeah. They'd all been having vodka ice cubes.
And glass.
Yes, apparently so.
Well, that's the first rule in a bar or restaurant. Like if you break glass anywhere near the ice thing, you got to clear the whole thing out. Yeah. Because you're not going to see it. Like, you're going to feel it. You're not going to see it. Yeah.
Boy, AB with the advice to bar owners there. All right, Andrew in Portland up next with a ding-dong on the Mark Spain real estate hotline. What's up, Andrew?
Hey, fellas, I've got a double ding-dong. I normally give this person some bleep you Aaron Rodgers on the morning show, but I got to give my first one to Buck because this man is on vacation, and I've seen his Twitter blowing up with sports-related posts. If you go on vacation, stop tweeting about your job. Stop tweeting about sports. Spend some time with the second ding-dong recipient, which is his, I think, either girlfriend, fiance, wife, Dara. Listen, Dara, why do you put up with this guy's crap is my question. He also left vacation early because he was nervous that the one and only Lucas Panzica was going to steal his show. So that's my double ding-dong, fellas. See ya.
I can confirm that. That's confirmed.
Solid.
That's confirmed by me.
That was so good.
I can't wait to tell Dara that she was a ding-dong on Blaine.
That's what I was going to say. Like, the delivery of how he parlayed right into number 2, just phenomenal job right there.
It's true, though. He came back a day early. He said they got antsy.
What?
To go to work. Well, that is how nice it is at 104.5 The Zone and 104.5thezone.com.
Just begging to come back to work. Yeah.
I mean,
they were in the beautiful mountains of Gatlinburg.
Imagine how nice the weather is up there right now. Imagine, because it's nice here.
Perfect.
Imagine what they're living up there. Like at night, sit by the fire kind of weather.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is pretty ding-dongish there by Buck. What do you guys got for ding-dongs? And some of the people have hung up here, so we'll have to try to remember who all did what ding-dong-wise. What have you guys got? Lucas Panzica, we've got Bert, we've got Allan Bell. You've still got time to call in, try to win these tickets, 615-737-1045. Ding-dongs from you, gentlemen.
So, Robert, do you have the Kendrick Perkins audio? Kendrick Perkins has been in the news a lot, apparently, because I told you guys that Perk was going to be my ding-dong of the week, and you said, for that rant against Draymond, which I just looked up.
Yeah.
And I can't play that because it would just be one long, continuous bleep.
Yes.
Too censored. But I can play this, something that Kendrick Perkins said on JJ Redick's podcast over the weekend. And I had to listen back to it like 3 or 4 times.
I got a confession. Let me tell you. So we played the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2008, and it was a game 7, right? We just had lost game 6. And I ain't gonna lie, man, I was scared as hell going into that game 7 against LeBron James. And this was the only time that I actually prayed that something happened to him at practice. I said, you know what?
What a thing to confess.
I know, but I'm being real. I was like, let us get breaking news that LeBron has, tore his ACL or something.
Jesus.
I did, bro. I'm not even lying. I'm not even exaggerating. And I have
to edit this out.
He said he prayed. He prayed to God that LeBron would tear his ACL ahead of Game 7.
Let us get some breaking news. Look, anytime somebody starts a conversation with, listen, man.
I got a confession.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, JJ Redick's reaction with his co-host, who I unfortunately do not know the name of, was priceless. On the video, they could not believe what was being aired on their podcast when that man said he prayed for LeBron James to tear an ACL during the playoffs.
I got specific with it.
Not just get a night of stomach flu or something no, tear an ACL.
It was like a 2.5-minute clip. I didn't want to play the whole thing, but they do follow that up. Can't you just hope for a sprained ankle or a stomach bug? And Perk was like, no, because he can come back from that. He can play through that. I need an ACL. I need him to be out.
He needed confirmation. Yeah.
He'll play through a sprained ankle.
Wow. Allan Bell, your ding-dong.
Yes. So we won't say the establishment here in Nashville, but I will say that it is a gas convenience store located on Stewart's Ferry Pike.
Okay.
Look, through 2020 and the pandemic, excuse me, we dealt with a national coin shortage, correct? Dealt with all that, still kind of going on. I'm not a coin expert, don't know, but I will say this. I went into a gas station to get something to drink, some gas, and then to get some air for my tires, right? Go and run it at about 27, need them at 32. So a little tune-up with some air. The woman behind the counter told me that there's a national air shortage. And I just looked at her. I said, I'm sorry, you're going to have to say that again. A what? Because I was like, here are some ones. I need some quarters, for the thing. If she said a national coin shortage, we don't have them. Understood. I would have, whatever, fine, right? You can use your card.
Yeah.
No, we have a national air shortage. And I was like, I just looked at her, and then, literally I said that. She said it again, completely serious. I thought she was joking. She said it completely serious. And the first thing that came to my mind is I was like, do you guys have an ice machine? She goes, yeah. I was like, yeah, we got to start protecting this ice. We're going to have an ice shortage, She just looked at me like it did not register whatsoever. And I was like, all right, we're done. So everybody out there, look, I don't know if there's a carbon dioxide shortage.
But hold your breath.
Yeah, just be careful out there with a national air shortage. So, yeah, that's my ding-dong.
All right. We have 2 more callers. Let's squeeze in 2 more before the end of the segment. My old friend, caller 43, checking in. What are you doing, 43?
Mickey Ryan, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. I hope you're doing well, man.
It's been a minute, man. Great show. I have a ding-dong for whoever voted in that poll that was mentioned earlier this hour.
don't they know that the Houston Oilers are 0 for 60 in Super Bowl attempts at winning? They're never going to win. It's the curse of football gods hate butt at them. You know, let's go Steelers. Let's jump on the bandwagon. The Titans are not ever going to win, and I'm never going to change my mind. But we love you, but we just dislike the team. How's that sound? Native Nashvilleian.
Caller 43 must hate Motley Crue.
Caller 43.
I was going to say, all right, so that's his name,
this
number 43?
Experience. Yeah. Caller 43, who I've known a long time, he's seen Motley Crue many times. He's seen them all.
Caller 43, I mean, big Troy Polamalu guy. Right?
Oh, big.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So I was going to say, first thing that came to my mind, and then he said Steelers. I was like,
although it's more NASCAR related. Think that 43, right. I think NASCAR legend, and you'll get the right 43 there. Maybe a certain king. All right, Chris in Chapel Hill will wrap up the phone calls for the Ding Dong segment. Chris, how you doing, man? What's your Ding Dong for us?
Oh, not too bad. How you doing today, Mickey?
Doing well.
My Ding Dong of the week is Pacers rookie Benedict Mathurin for calling out LeBron James, saying that LeBron's going to have to show him that he's better than him. I don't know who calls out LeBron, especially a rookie, but that guy definitely gets my Ding Dong, and go Motley Crue, baby.
All right, Chris, stay on the line here. We got to finish up our votes. My Ding Dong is Jason Kochrack, who's a PGA golfer who had a nice opening round of the Travelers and was bombing the next day, and I guess got to the 9th hole and had a double bogey or had like a quadruple bogey, something like that. And he had 47. He was 43 yards from the hole, knocked the ball completely off the course, and walked to his car and joined the LIV tournament. He just peace out. He just quit. He's already, I guess, played some Saudi events, and it was thought that he was going to join. He just said, peace out, y'all. He knocked the ball like over the grandstand, out of the course.
That means that someone, one of his buddies or a group text him, and like they were like at the bar or something. No, and he was like, I kind of want to do that. The next one that goes out of here, I'm gone. Yep. Boom, drive, just pulled it. Yep. He just looks like he's going to his ball. Nope, went right to the truck. We're heading out of here.
He had a 5 putt. He had 2 double bogeys on his round, and was going to need a miracle to make the cut. I think he had to make 2 under to make the cut. So he just smashed one off the course and went home to LIV tournament, which I think they've just about filled all of their slots. Yeah. All right, gentlemen, do we need to pick this now? Do we need to deliberate during the commercial?
Let's deliberate.
We'll deliberate. My
vote's Kevin. He did great.
Oh, the guy who loves Allan Bell. Okay, and we'll go through the ding-dongs. We'll announce a winner next. Also, future for betting in Tennessee. Allan Bell's got some cool numbers he wants to share. That's coming up next. Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. Great job by Allan Bell filling in today, man. Your fan club weighed in on the Zone TV chat. You got a phone call and a ding dong of the week. And the guy said, before I, share my ding dong, I just want to just praise Allan Bell. And our boss came down to meet you. And I mean, it was just, what a day for you. Just what a coronation of being Allan Bell.
First off, it was a real treat for me. And, it sounds like I'm joking. I'm not. Like, I couldn't thank you guys enough for having me down here. I've had a fantastic time. It's always awesome to be with you guys, and especially here in the studio, and to talk with everyone, that listens, man. Like, I'm not the greatest with words, but I can say thank you. I appreciate it. It's a blast every time, man.
Yeah, pretty great with words. And as the caller said, great Twitter account as well. Very uplifting, and you're always doing stuff for people or pledging this or that or helping somebody. So it's funny. One of the first things I ever said when you came on with us is everybody needs to follow Allan on Twitter. He's a fantastic Twitter follow. So others have picked up on that as well. Allan's going to give us a little betting stuff for the state of Tennessee before we go, but we do need to pick a Ding Dong of the Week winner. Do we have a winner, gentlemen?
Let's go with Chris. Chris, who had Benedict Mathurin, I do not want to butcher his name, the former Arizona star that was drafted in the first round of the NBA draft, and said, what did he say, Robert? What was it?
He called out LeBron. He was like, LeBron's going to have to show me that he's better than me.
to show me that he's better than me. Yeah, which is right up there with Chet Holmgren, who I've considered making my Ding Dong of the Week for saying he'll be the best. He was asked who's the best player in the NBA. He said me in 2 months.
Nice.
There's just a lot to take in visually with Chet Holmgren.
Yeah. There's a lot to take in with that statement. LeBron's going to have to show me. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Bert, you have his number right. You can check. A lot of people hung up on us. So you've got the caller's number. You can get in touch with him and make sure he gets his Motley Crue tickets. Is that correct?
Sure, wink. I'm definitely not going to steal them for myself. No.
Okay. All right. But we got a little bit of time left here. And Allan, again, we were going over some topics that we could discuss, and I thought this was interesting. What does sports betting look like nearly 2 years in for the state of Tennessee since it's been legalized here? Most popular bet types, least profitable bets or least profitable bets to avoid, etc.
Yep.
So we got a couple of minutes here. I thought, well, let's educate the people a little bit since we got the man who does the education here.
So Tennessee is way ahead of the game. All right, Tennessee, the state of Tennessee, and the audience that bets on sports is doing quite well. Like you'll get the information of like which states take in the most bets, like the most money, and it's always going to be New York, Pennsylvania, like states with huge populations, right? Mm-hmm. But then you look at percentages of where how much sports bettors are winning. Tennessee's a top 4 state in the country, because this is a smart audience. They know sports. They don't overextend themselves. Like Tennessee is doing unbelievably well. That's why you saw after the first Big 4 books, were here. Books just kept coming, right? Like everybody, from Caesars to Barstool Sports, like everybody wanted a part of Tennessee, and that has not stopped. Number 2, over $40 million in tax revenue for the state, and you look at how it's managed by the Tennessee Lottery. Not a ton of additional resources had to go into this, right? Like you didn't have to build a big skyscraper and hire 500 people that are tax paid employees. Really, they just kind of picked it up and ran with it, right? Like they've done well there. So the state is getting money, in regards to that too. So it's a win-win on both sides. And then number 3, the interesting part is looking at how bettors in the state have kind of changed the way that they're betting. And what I mean by it is this, is say you have a Titans-Ravens game or a Titans-Colts game, all right? Sunday Night Football here, Titans-Colts, national game. What you're seeing is that 2 years ago, not only Tennessee, but the entire country, 90% of your bets would be spread or total, right? Titans cover the spread, over, under, etc.
Right.
Across the country, it is flipped to around 70% of people playing prop bets, right? Like you're still seeing spread and totals. Like, don't get me wrong, those still get played, but those are more like kind of your big money sharp people. The average person, like all of us, placing bets, have gone fully to prop bets, which is essentially like fantasy football on steroids in one game, right? So you're going to see that market continue to evolve and adapt, and you'll see new ways to bet it. Like we saw last year, the emergence of quarterback interceptions as a prop, even money on either side. Is he going to throw one, right? A lot of people cash in on that. So I say all that to say this. Once we get closer and in the preseason, towards the end of it, watch your books and look at props, because every sports book right now has teams of intelligent people that are saying, creatively come up with new props. Does Derrick Henry do X, Y, Z combine? Like, they're going to come up with all these things. So watch it for this year. They always deliver, and they're fun. So just pay attention to that.
What's the most common mistake, not just Tennesseans, but all people make when they bet?
Parlays. Absolutely. Parlays are sports casinos in Las Vegas are making more money off of parlays now that a lot of them don't even really care about the spread. I'm not saying they don't care at all, but they're making so much money off of busted parlays because people will put 9, 10, 11, 12 legs. The statistical probability of hitting that is you're going to get hit by lightning twice, right? Like, it doesn't take much, $5, $10, whatever, but they have so many that come in these same game parlays. I'm not saying don't play them. What I'm saying is this, and I heard this directly from a guy who worked for Caesars for 30 years. He told me, he goes, once your parlay gets past 2 legs, rip it up. He was like that, like the difference between 2 legs, and beyond. He was like, the books have so much leverage on you. Like, don't do it. Now, which, we still do it like for fun, but a lot of people, like, that's their whole, like, that's 100% of their pool of money, to where I say, look at betting straight or betting props. Like, that's your dinner. Parlay is your dessert afterward, but make sure that you get your meat and your vegetables, play things straight. Yeah. Because if you're playing 100,
to get your vegetables out there,
if you're playing 100% parlays, you just, statistically, you're going to lose a lot.
That's almost people trying to buy a mini lottery ticket, isn't it?
Yep.
Where I'm going to put $5 down, but if I won, it's $17,000.
Yep.
Isn't it? That's what it is.
Yep.
Though. I mean, right?
Yep.
So you're just kind of hoping, like, I'm going to catch lightning in a bottle 7 times across 3 sports and win $17,000 on a $4.37 bet.
Yep, that's exactly it. And I'll tell you where you could get the best money, like college basketball beginning of the season, because books, they don't know Belmont versus Tennessee Tech. Like, they don't know it. Like, that's where you're going to find your biggest profit.
Listen to that, man. Gosh, I just hear cash registers all around the city going cha-ching. Allan, give them all your info on the way out. Where do they follow you? Where do they consume all your stuff?
Yep. Sportsline.com, CBSSports.com, and on Twitter at Allan Bell 247. And again, thank you all. Thank you all the listeners for dealing with me. It's an honor to be with you. Appreciate it.
If I say this is the biggest understatement ever. It has been totally our pleasure. You are welcome anytime. Thank you, sir. Allan Bell, the great Allan Bell. All right, the Hitman will be back tomorrow. We'll go back to doing our regular shtick, but trust me, Allan will be back again soon. Always great to have him. Great to have you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. 3HL is next on 104.5 The Zone. Happy Monday. In the meantime, in between time, peace.